Alright guys, so we're going to be playing some Wars of Succession today. Now we are going to play in about 3 minutes time, we'll probably start early. Muso may have mentioned to you today we're going to have somewhat of a short stream, maybe 40 minutes to an hour, something like that. Then tomorrow we're going to have the main stream for Wars of Succession, the release stream, where I'm going to be playing some much bigger campaigns. For this one we'll probably stick to, some simple stuff, some fairly straightforward campaigns, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and jump in. And good day, mate. Somebody put good day, mate. All right, let's jump in here. So today, we've already done the Italy War. We could also do the Great Northern War. Either of these scenarios that we take are going to be quite long, except for the Italian War. And I do want to make sure to finish up a campaign during this stream, so we're probably going to jump into the Italian War, only this time we're going to play as the Grand Alliance. So we've actually got to attack Milan and conquer it, as well as conquer a lot of other Italian city-states, but we'll get to that as the time comes. So this is a small campaign scenario, and this is actually the smallest one in the game, starting in the early summer of 1701, when Prince Eugene of Savoy, military commander of the Austrian forces, provoked French military involvement by invading the Duchy of Milan and started the real fighting of the Spanish Succession War. Now, of course, you guys have to keep in mind that during this time, Italy was not a unified country. These were all separate principalities. I think, actually, Muso would probably even have more information than I would on this situation. Basically, all these areas are separate. Some of them are, of course, allied with us. For instance, Venice is, I believe, allied with us. We may need to cut through Venice, though. But places like, of course, Milan and Genoa, as well as Savoy, are against us. So Piedmont and Lombardy are pretty much against us, as well as, obviously, Lyon, part of the Kingdom of France. Now, we can also back up. I didn't show you guys this last time, but obviously, in most Age-Odd games, you can back up, take a nice long look at the map. As you can see, this one encompasses only northern Italy and parts of Austria. When you get into the more serious campaigns, then you've got basically the entire map of Europe. So I'm going to go ahead and take a letter from the Book of the Great Generals here. I am going to attack. I mean, look at how much command Eugene can have. No wonder he was beating us when we were playing as the French. His command level is 58. I honestly don't remember a commander with a command level that high. We could basically double the size of his army, merge it with him, and he would still be able to command the army with no problems or penalties whatsoever. So first things first, I'm going to march right through. 14 days. Man, that's a fast march. You gotta love Eugene here. And we can go ahead and make it an aggressive attack. I'm also going to make it so our men cannot resist, cannot fall back, basically. They can't retreat. So let's see what happens, and let's hope for the absolute best. We can also enter military recruitment mode, and since we are Austria, we should have some ducats to spend on manpower. So I'm going to go ahead and start recruiting some infantry there. And we will end the turn. Let's hope for the best here. Every time we play as Catinat, we get our butts handed to us. So I'm hoping this time, playing as Eugene, we might actually get a very successful victory. And then we fall back to Mantova and basically wait in Mantova for a while. Ooh, sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Chiro just made me aware of the Will Be Live Soon screen still being up. Shame on me. Shame indeed. Give me just 1 second to open up. The battle right now is going, and we can't actually jump into the game during the battle. Use your imagination, kids, says Muso. Sorry about that, boys and girls. There we go. So, we have attacked, and we got an Austrian victory. Sure enough, Prince Eugene de Savoy managed to beat Nicolas Catinat. And to be quite frank with you, I think you guys also agree on this. Catinat, so far, is our least liked general on the entire Slytherin channel. He is a terrible general. He really is. But if somebody wants to give me some historical facts letting me know that he's actually not too bad, I'll probably take them. But every fight we've had with Catinat, as Catinat or against him, he's always lost. I don't think we've had a single victory. Now, the one thing that's frustrating me is he's actually run away to the one place that I'm trying to base my men, and that's in Mantova. So we're going to have to attack Mantova as well. I was hoping he'd run away to Milan. He did not. And that is another Austrian victory. Wonderful. As you can see there, we killed 3,341 men, 305 cavalry. He did take a chunk out of our boys too, but overall, we overpowered this guy without a shadow of the doubt. Gosh, I've been here in Europe way too long. So, as you can see here, our Herberstein, the Max Sternberg Grenadier Company, the Bagni Infantry Company. Some of these may actually be Italian infantry companies. And actually, since we had the screen off, I'll just run through that again, but much quicker, of course. And that is essentially that, what the heck is Eugene doing? He's continuing the attack. I never sent him to go to Modena. What's wrong with you, Eugene? During this particular time period, as you can see here, we're going to zoom out just a bit. Italy is not a unified country. That comes much later during the time of Garibaldi. So some of these provinces or some of these principalities are in support of the Austrians. Others are in support of the French. There's really no, I mean, obviously they're independent duchies, but there's really no unification, as it were, between the Italians, if that makes sense. Now, I want to get back to Mantova. This is where Eugene had his, well, not his famous last stand, but his famous stand, period. The annoying thing is Catinat is following us. He's like an annoying younger brother. He just keeps on following us. I don't know why, because we're going to keep beating him in every battle, but I guess his goal is to see if he can't finish us off during one of these battles. So we got this unit under production in Trieste. And as you can see right now, the political and the diplomatic options are non-existent because this is a small campaign. Tomorrow when we do the mainstream, we're going to touch upon the larger campaigns, and you guys will be able to see the massive amount of political decisions that you can really take on during the game itself. So let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get to Mantova. I'm actually going to put myself on a defensive posture. I don't want to fight if I don't have to. I just want to get to Mantova and get some more recruits, some more men, etc. And I'm assuming that a good percentage of our soldiers are probably from these Italian provinces. They're not actually from Austria proper. Here we go. Oh, another battle! And we win again. Catinat loses. What a surprise. Excellent victory there. I feel bad for Catinat's soldiers. I mean, we've now got him down to 15,000 men, essentially. A ton of wounded and dead to take care of. And at this point, he's down to his cavalry, the cuirassiers. He's got quite a lot of cuirassier squads here. And I'm thinking that our men pretty much have figured out the square formation by now because his cavalry is losing badly. Not to mention, look at the amount of cavalry we have as the Prince of Savoy. Nearly 19,000. Unbelievable. So we beat him again. Let's hope we can get back to Mantova this time, though. I just want to relax in Mantova, sit down, have a spritz, maybe a Negroni, and just have a nice time. I don't think either drink existed at the time period, but you never know. So here we go. So actually, he's increased his attack power, which goes to show you that the Duchy of Modena is actually on our side. So a few people or a few farmers, workers, etc. from Modena have decided to join our army in an effort to beat back French imperialism. Of course, I don't think the term imperialism really had much meaning at this time. Now, I'm going to put Eugene on a massive attack, and I'm going to go back to Mantova. So we're going to try and fight Catinat on the way. Let's take a look here at the chat. Thank you, Musso. So Musso saying Italy became a United Kingdom in 1861. The more you know. Yeah, I like the more you know. Should we do the little the song they play after those commercials? Da-na-na-na. Those are wonderful. We need an Italian reunification strategy game. I'm sure a lot of the marketing team at Slytherin would love that. Prevent the Austrians and Napoleons. Oh, thanks, Pixel. So Pixel's talking about a podcast called Talking History, the Italian unification on this subject, if you want more quick on how Italy became Italy. And yes, you can do that in Victoria, too. Another great game. Oh, I got that pronunciation of cuirassier. Yay! I hope so. And let's take a look here. Musso, every time Agrippa pronounces an Italian name, a pizza dies. It's okay. There are infinite amounts of pizzas in Italy, so it doesn't matter. It never ends. In fact, after this stream, I'm likely going to go out and purchase a pizza for myself. Why not, I say. All right, so we've got this guy over here. We've got some Fiume regiments, miliz, and miliz, of course, is militia. We're, of course, here in the area of Istria, and this is kind of interesting. So I don't know how this works, but basically the Republic of Venice, which is allied with us at this moment, they control all of this land, a nice big chunk of territory here. in Italy, in northern Italy. But at the same time, they also control the Straits of Istria. But how can that be? Because the Austrians are in between both of them. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold on, boys and girls. There we go, we're back. We're back. So as you can see, like right here, for instance, the Austrians have cut across here, and they hold this area, and of course, the Venetians hold Istria, and they also hold the parts of the Dalmatian coast. Now, the Dalmatian coast kind of makes sense. If you go back into Italian history, and I'm talking thousands of years, or even, let's be more specific, like maybe hundreds of years, more like thousands, 1200, 1300 years, etc. The Italians, and this was even during the times of the Roman Republic and even before the times of the Roman Republic, would often go to the coast of Dalmatia there and actually take slaves, the Dalmatian slaves. And of course, that's also where the dog breed comes from. So I can kind of understand our presence, or our allies' presence in that area. Once again, another Austrian victory at the Battle of Modena, and this one was a bit closer. I got to give it to Catinat. For once, he didn't completely throw away his forces, but we still won. Fact is, the annoying thing is he's actually managing to hold us here. So, you know, fighting a battle, it takes time, it takes movement, it takes a lot of effort on part of your men. And every time he stops us, he's gaining a little extra time for him and his buddies in the Duchy of Milan. Now, another thing about this very short campaign that you probably want to keep in mind is, despite the fact that it's a short campaign and you're starting off with a larger force, if you start as the Grand Alliance, i.e. the Austrians, you're not necessarily going to win. So we've played this particular campaign twice on previous streams. Actually, I played it once on my channel and once on a previous stream, and we played as the French, and we won both times. And the reason is because even though Eugene here has a huge army and definitely outmatches Catinat in almost every single way possible, there's a lot of land we need to take for this to be considered a victory. And I think one of the most important areas is going to be Milan itself. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't get a supply depot here. Nope, we've actually got a fort and a supply depot, which is one reason this area is so valuable. I would enter the structure, but quite frankly, I don't care if Catinat attacks. We'll beat him anyway. So I'm just going to stay put and end the turn. Let's hope for the best. Come on, keep those fingers crossed. What's that? What's that, General? That doesn't look like Catinat. Oh, please don't tell me they've just gotten reinforcements. I don't know why, but, well, I think I do know why, but anytime I play this game, the movie Barry Lyndon comes to mind. I just imagine being one of the troops in one of these massive armies, part of one of these contingents, either the Gutenstein Regiment, or the Stamberg Regiment, or the Carpi French Regiment. That's right, we actually have a French regiment within our army, despite the fact that we're facing... No, sorry, it's Italian. I see, and I'm partially colorblind. To me, that looks blue on the left. Now, it's obviously green, but... it's a very tough green to tell for me. And when I say partially colorblind, for instance, it's very tough for me to tell the difference between like a dark blue and a black. Very tough. I need to get one of those, what are those new glasses they have for colorblind people? Those seem really fun. So I'm actually going to get rid of the special orders list. I think we're going to stay put. As you can see there on the far right side, we still have some stuff that we need to essentially improve. I think one thing we can do is take this reserve corps and see if we can't get it to Eugene. Oh, can't reach this destination from here. So Eugene is cut off. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, fair enough. I think I'm going to go ahead and go on a defensive posture once again, and we're going to wait for Catinat, see what he's going to do. Although each turn we wait, we give him a chance to, you know, regroup some more of his forces. So we could either stay here and wait, guys, or we can attack Catinat. Let's see what you guys think we should do, and we'll make this one a poll. So defend or attack, pretty straightforward. Just a poll option for that. If you guys want us to, we'll go ahead, we'll attack the General Catinat before he can muster even more forces, or we'll wait, we'll stay put, and we'll try to rebuild our strength. So Musso is now going to go ahead and create something. And Musa, I like that as well. My father is Neapolitan, so thank God I know what a good pizza is. Yeah, and actually, I've been to Napoli. I've also been to Rome. I think the only area in Italy I've not been to is Calabria and Sicily. But I agree that in the south of Italy, the pizza is much better. There's a thinner crust on the pizza. The sauce is nicer. But I will say that Milanese pizza, in comparison to the most other countries, it's still pretty good. Not the best, though. Attack always. Everybody's saying attack. These guys all know my general skills so well, and they know that I'm aggressive to a fault, and I'm probably going to attack anyway. So everybody's like, yep, attack. Let's go for it. Let's go for the attack. We don't want this guy to muster up troops. And the interesting thing, and it just goes to show you how political loyalties during this time really didn't exist the way they do today. As you can see in Modena, this guy right here, Catina, is still getting people from this area to join the army, and so are we. Both of us are. I don't think that there were really loyalties amongst the peasants or amongst the lower classes as to which side they supported. It was basically whichever side was willing to pay them. It's pretty much that easy. I mean, this was clearly a war and a battle between monarchs, not so much between the people. They would support either side as long as they got a nice little paycheck. So let's go ahead and let's make those new recruits regret ever joining the dastardly French army. We're trying to use our indoor language here. We're just trying to stay away from any sort of naughty words, as it were. And there we go. Sure enough, look at that. Most of his men ran away. He had 1,000 men left. That's comedic, okay? We lost 15 men, 15 cavalry. I'm guessing most of them are probably just wounded. And his men left him. He was left with 1,000 men. I think like the rest of his army was just like, dude, we are not interested in fighting for you. You're a terrible general. We're out of here. So you can see there, 19,442, and all that stayed behind was the Cosse, the Dragoon Regiment. The French Dragoon Regiment, and we shot them down, 762 of them, just drastic. So I think that was actually a good move, guys. And at this point, I'm going to try to approach Milan from the south. I might keep following Catina, believe it or not. We have to wait and see if that's actually going to occur, but that's certainly a possibility. I think you guys made the right decision with the attack. We've got to remain aggressive, especially since this is a shorter campaign, which means you have to reach those objectives a lot faster. So I'm going to make an all-out attack. We're going to be extremely vicious, extremely aggressive. And I'm even going to try to make it all the way to Milano in one turn. It's a really tough one. Hey, Teskur. Oh, no. What are you talking about? These are the handsomest looking men in the world. Look at that. Those wigs. Just look at those terrible wigs. And, you know, I've heard that... researching these wigs, and I had an interest in this stuff a while back, that a lot of these wigs, they weren't exactly washed every day. It was sort of like a once a year you'd wash your wig. So these wigs would have some interesting things living inside them. I couldn't imagine what, but I don't even really want to think about it. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Come on, Catina, put up a fight for once. Put your dukes up, Catina. I know you can put up a fight, for goodness sake. That's right, Texas has just joined the war. We're not even a state yet, but we're here. Here we go. Oh, look at that. So actually, this time he left Catina back, but they moved Husserls to the capital of Milan. Let's take a look. Come on, boys. All-out attack. Remember, guys, we're in Parma now, so we're in a different region. And that was an Austrian victory and a massive, massive battle. Very, very bloody. We actually got hit pretty hard ourselves. 2,321 men down, but nobody can beat Catina at losing men. This guy just, I don't know how he became a general. I'm assuming he was born into wealth because he is just awful. And as you can see, his men are showing dramatic signs of cowardice. I would show signs of cowardice as well if Catina was my commander. Now, we do have one tooltip here I'm not familiar with. Lack of ammunition. Okay. So that's why we were trying to get that that group of wagons. But I'm guessing maybe Venice is not as friendly to us as we thought. I'm not 100% sure. As you can see, though, we still have a lot of control, a lot of men with ammo. We only have that one unit that's having ammunition issues. So I'm not going to worry about it too much, and we're going to continue the assault. So Huxelles and Villeroy. Now, Villeroy is Catina's friend. Somewhat better general, I'll say. So they've definitely set up several roadblocks for us. Another beautiful victory. And this time, as you could see against Villeroy, he's a higher ranked general than Catinat, and he put up a much better fight. Much more even casualties on each side. We did beat him in Piacenza. I think I got that right, Muso? Piacenza. But I'm not entirely sure. Let's take a look here. Not bad at all. Not bad. He only had 13,000 men. He put up an excellent fight. So actually what we're doing right now, and I wish I remembered the term because I was just watching a documentary on the Military History Channel about this. But essentially, there are numerous different ways to win a war, and the term will come to me eventually. Maybe one of you guys can actually let me know in the comments down below. And what it means essentially is there are several ways to defeat an army. Now, if your force is smaller than the enemy force, one way you can defeat the enemy army is to cut the enemy army up into several sections and defeat one section at a time. So, for instance, a little farther into the future in history here, give or take 100 years, when Napoleon was actually doing his Italian campaign and he was able to conquer all of this northern province, he had significantly less men than the Austrians did. But he was able to basically section off and cut off sections of the Austrian army so that at each battle that Napoleon fought, despite overall not having as much men as the Austrians, he always had more numbers. If he did face a stronger enemy, then he would strike at the weakest point of that enemy and turn the forces that struck against the rest of the enemy army and still have the numbers advantage. So that's kind of what we're doing here, to be honest with you. We just destroyed 2 enemy armies. However, Catinat kind of got his way because now he's in Milan, and we are here in Parma, and in Piacenza, Parma, and we need to stay put here, rebuild our forces, and attack. I think this is the first time that he might actually be able to beat us with those numbers. Then again, we could take a risk and just charge, but I think I'm going to stay put and hope that some of the wonderful people of Piacenza will join our cause. We'll have to wait and see. Let's take a look here. Piecemeal, yeah, that's definitely part of it, but that's not the military term. There's an actual military term that refers to this, but we'll find it eventually. The Z is pronounced in a different way, and the accent is on the E. Okay. I see. So here we go. I think we're going to stay put, and end the turn. Yeah, let's go for it. I hope that the Italian people still have trust in their Austrian overlords. I mean friends, of course. We're all working together. Join our army immediately. We'll have to wait and see. Although the people of the region of Parma seem to be very, very much in our favor. Of course, they're more than willing to join the French as well, as long as they're willing to pay. So yeah, as we get closer to the end of this campaign, we find ourselves in a position where we are pretty much forced to attack Milan. We've got to try and take the city. We're outnumbered, but that shouldn't be an issue. We've got better men. It's just that simple. Better trained men, and this guy Villeroy, he's better than Catinat, but Catinat is a garbage general, and we're gonna have to go ahead and just charge in. Now we do have the Mantova reserve. Oh, I wish we had brought these guys along. 31 days to get here. I don't think we can wait 31 days. Man. Well, we're just gonna have to hope for the best. We are gonna attack. Nothing can stop us. It must happen now. Not only do we have to beat the army there, but we need to storm the city. So there's a lot that has to be done. No battle? What? I think we took aggressive posture. And actually, our attack points increased there. So some of the people maybe look at this, the draft. So the enemy has just done a draft decision. For those of you that don't know, of course, a draft is essentially a percentage of the population is going to be forced to join the army. And that's a good decision because we just now got here to Milan, and I'm going to attack aggressive attack here with Eugene. We need to win this battle quickly, and I'm just hoping that his wagon here, supply wagon, can get to him before the battle begins. I think that's pretty unlikely. Nonetheless, we are going to go into this extremely aggressively. Let's see how we do. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Reinforcements. 50,000 reinforcements. Guys, we started off winning. We ended up losing. And as you can see, not many men were lost on either side. 307 to 748. I think our men just realized, or more importantly, our generals realized we can't win this battle. We've got to move back. They've got forces from Lombardy. They've got forces from Piedmont. They've got forces from all sorts of places here. Orléans, Brabant. So not only Italian, French, all sorts of troops here mixed together. And yeah, there's no way we can take that city, at least not now. So we're going to be forced to move back, or possibly just to hold this position and hope that the enemy leaves the city and attacks us. I think in a defensive situation, we could probably still win a battle. But in terms of storming the city of Milan, I just don't see that happening right now. So there we go. We did get our beautiful supply wagon. I'm sure our men are very, very happy. Got some food, got some tobacco, some ammunition, gunpowder, all that good stuff. Let's see. So there's nothing I can build out here. There's no real cards I can play, to say the least. The best thing I can do, there's two things. I can either stay put, right, and essentially hope that the enemy will leave the city and fight me. It is being controlled by Catinat. So I'm thinking that's one thing. Or we could head back here to Mantova and increase the size of our army. I think that's probably the best decision, is heading back to Mantova. And I think this is the reason it's so easy to lose this campaign as the Austrians, because if you don't strike and hit Milan and take it quickly, then you just run out of time, basically. So let's get out of here. For once, I don't want Catinat to follow us, but he might do it anyway. Here we go. Eugene, get out of here, boy. I know you've won every battle up until now, but you're not going to win the ones in the future if you're not careful. I think the actual main leader of their army is Villeroy. Yeah, he's holding us for Catinat to arrive. Thankfully, we did get away. Villeroy tried to hold us, about 300 men down on each side. But I think we're going to manage to get out of this area. So at least we don't get completely destroyed. Oh, maybe not. Oh, they are holding us here. And we've actually got our attack power increasing, so we actually have people joining our army. Now we've got the Savoyards joining the battle against us. Oh, man. The enemy has us right where they want us. So we might be forced to stay in a defensive posture here, to be honest with you. I'm going to try to run back one more time, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're stuck here. Pretty straightforward. And actually, that was just a Spanish unit we just saw there. They also have Spaniards on their side. Alright, this looks much better. Not to mention, walking through these provinces, we will pick up some men. Let's take a look. I think that's pretty much all we can do. Let's end. By the way, guys, I should mention now, I think this is a good a time as ever, that basically what's going to be happening on the Twitch channel coming up here is we're going to let you guys exchange sliths for some of the new release games. Am I mistaken on that, Muso? So essentially, especially for the new releases, we're going to put aside a certain number of copies, like not many, but 4 or 5, 10, something like that. And those of you in the chat have a special priority since you guys are so loyal and you always show up here to watch me and watch Muso as well. And we want to give back, so we're going to put aside some copies, and basically you can pick up the game with your sliths and just have a new release game before anyone else does. I think that's a really cool option there for our users. So here we go, 26 turns away from making it back to Modena here, and I can't wait to make it back. Let's take a look here. Okay, so Rune is asking which map filter am I using. So I am using the this one right here, the Owner of All Regions overlay. And actually, it's good that you bring that up, because I'll actually just run through all of the map overlays here for people that are new to the games. We've also got a supply overlay, which shows us essentially where supply is passing through. Luckily, since we're allied with the Venetians, we get a nice supply route through this area right here, and we're able to basically keep Eugene satisfied. This is the region where the strategic regions. Basically, these are the regions we need to keep and control to win the game. So we obviously hold all of the ones we want over here, but we need to take Milan and we need to take Torino. For it to be considered a decisive victory. Now, you want to look at each specific campaign to see how many victory points you need to win, because in most cases you don't need to take all of the enemy cities, but it doesn't hurt to take a few. Over here, we have the Alliances region, or the Alliances explanation here. Over here, we've got the theaters of operation. So, of course, this is the Italian theater, the Austrian theater, etc., the Swiss theater, etc., etc., and over here, we've got the terrain in different colors. The terrain in different colors never really made much sense to me, but to make sense of it to you guys, if you guys see these red areas, this is impassable terrain. So, for instance, the Alps, I think it's the Alps, are up here. And as you can see, we can't pass through this area. It's just not possible. Two of the sections are controlled by the Republic of Venice, and the rest are controlled by the Swiss. And of course, the final, which is the weather map. And this basically just shows what the weather's like. When it's clear like this, nothing's happening. When it's a bit green, it's a little rainy, but otherwise, things seem fine. Now, that being said, weather, especially in this era, is quite important. And I think most of you guys can guess why. Gunpowder. If your gunpowder gets wet, and that's where the term keep your powder dry comes from, you're not going to be able to fire at anybody. So you're basically stuck to bayonet combat or ingenious methods to obviously keep that powder from getting wet. And believe me, in a torrential downpour, it's very hard to stop that from happening. So let's see if we can't make it back. Here we go. And it looks like the French are sneaking some men into Austria. We haven't seen that happen before. They actually have some skirmishers waiting for us. Oh no, that's not good. Gattina is chasing us too. Oh no, we may be beaten, guys. Now, this is what happened. If you guys take a look here, we're now down to 611 attack power. Remember, guys, we started with like 4,000. This might be the first time we actually don't do too well. So there's any number of reasons why we're losing men. Most of the times it has to do with, just issues in terms of men leaving because they want to head back home, men not getting proper food, proper ammunition, etc. When they feel neglected, they're not going to stick around. And so we really need to try and get back to our regional capital here so that Eugene is in an area where the people support him. Because right now, the people don't have a lot of trust in Eugene. He's made it across northern Italy, but he lost at Milan, and that's a major loss, obviously. That's his entire campaign down the drain unless he's able to pick up a lot of men really, really quickly. So let's see what happens here. And we've got the Savoyards on the way as well. Oh my goodness. The Savoyards are going to try and get into Mantova. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I can't help but be impressed. So I'm going to stay right there, even if it means staying there till the end of the campaign. And I'm amazed the enemy did a really nice strategic move. And when we were playing as the Bourbons, the enemy side in this particular campaign, we never did this. What we did was when we lost our first battle against Eugene, we went straight back to Milan. When you think about what the AI did during this particular campaign, it was actually quite intelligent. Because what Catina did was as soon as we beat him here, he ran away over here to Modena. So we chased him to Modena, then he ran away to Parma. All of this entire time we spent chasing him 3 or 4 turns and defeating him, getting some really great victories, other armies were being built here in Milan and Bergamo. So they were sort of increasing their strength, and also the Savoyards were getting closer and closer to joining the French in the war. So really, they played us, guys. They just played us. They made us follow them. They let us win some battles, and then they turned it completely around. Take a look here at the chat. Should buy replacements. You're absolutely right. So Siri makes a good point, and we'll show how the replacements work here. So this is the War Ministry. This is producing new units. However, if we just want to go ahead and increase or buy replacements for existing units, it should be here. Wait a minute. Maybe I need to learn something, because usually in an AGOD games we have the replacement screen here. Interesting, Mena. Interesting, very interesting. Click the replacement button above. So that's new, and that's kind of cool, guys. This is not something that I recall from an AGOD game. So usually you would have like a different screen here. In this case, we just go ahead. I guess we buy 1 replacement, buy 5 replacements. 5? Yeah. So we simply click. Oh, beautiful. I like this. So we're going to buy some replacements for our infantry, of course, our Australian regulars, and I think that's about it. We'll go ahead and end the turn. I like the new system of replacement and unit production. I always thought those two could be merged together, and now they are. So now you simply click a button to switch between the two, and makes things a lot simpler. Before, that actually was an entirely different page, or a different option on the actual panel there. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm sure even Musso would be frustrated at this, that the Savoyards have taken over Mantova. This can't be good, can it, Musso? This can't be good for Italian relations. So Eugene actually did manage to get some men in his army, and Tess, it's kind of a girl's name, just saying, kind of a girl's name, is waiting here, and probably going to move in and attack pretty soon. We could actually likely attack him and get a victory, but I'm staying put. I don't think we're really moving any more this campaign. In terms of victory points, taking Milan at this point, it would be very hard. So I'm going to stay put. I hope the enemy does attack us, though, and I hope we keep getting some replacements, some reinforcements. Another reason that number increased was because of the replacement order that was mentioned earlier by Siri. Siri, every time I say his name, I always think of our good friends. Oh, ow! You okay, microphone? Stay with me, microphone, stay with me. Siri, how can we beat the Bourbons? Okay, I found this. It's never a straight answer. Okay, let's see. So, well, I can't help but be aggressive. You can see there, though, on the right and left that our cohesion is really not doing great. I'm going to go into just an offensive posture, not an assault posture, but you can see here, if you look at the left at the health of these units, a lot of these units are not ready for the fight. Some of them are, like these hilarious-looking Croatan, and they are from Croatia, indeed. They might look funny, but pretty ferocious warriors. And we've basically just let Mantova behind, for now at least. The mafioso relationships is Pixel. Oh, gosh. Is anything good for Italian relationships, says Musso? That's a good point. Very good point. The problems that they themselves created. I love when Italians beat themselves up. That always makes me happy. Bless you, Musso. All right, let's go ahead and move forward here. And this war is the worst example of Italian politics, because the Italians fought on both sides in this war, so that argument could be used even more, that they really supported both sides. Here we go. Okay, I think we can get our last victory here against Tess. And beautiful. Austrian victory at the Battle of Parma. A tiny battle, and it's not going to win us the campaign again. It's just going to get us an extra victory battles-wise, but I'm happy that we were able to pull out yet another victory. And also, the units here for the enemy are starting to look really, really cool. Of course, we outnumbered the enemy in this battle, not by much, but I think another deciding factor was just tremendous amounts of artillery here. Pretty good artillery fire. Our commander led the unit brilliantly, and how could he not? He's Prince Eugene of Savoy. Despite being a spoiled brat, the guy is an excellent commander, and I think our artillery probably just blew them away at this point. We didn't lose a single piece. We had 32 pieces of artillery. They had 16. But they did beat us in terms of cavalry, although we cut them down to our numbers by killing 400 of the cavalry units. Come on, Catina. Come back and fight us. So yeah, that was a smart move by Catina. As you can see, he sees Eugene to the south of Milan, and he's just like, we should do something about this. This could be a problem. And so he ran right back to Milan, and now we've got Amadeo, the Savoyard leader. He's over here in Mantova holding this area, but actually the city of Mantova itself is still in our hands. It's still our city. What I might do here in a dramatic and drastic attempt at reclaiming some land here is I'm going to try to cut through here and actually stay on this western side of the city in the province of Parma. and also beat this army on the way. It's a French force, but they currently have a 20% penalty because they don't have a commander at all. So that definitely helps me out. Thank you so much. And we'll also go ahead and add some replacements too, if we can. Again, depending on the income you have, etc., we have 97,000 pounds. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you're buying replacements or new armies. So let's just see if Eugene can at least make it back to Mantova. And no, it looks like Catinat held his location there. Looks like he didn't run away with his tail between his legs to Milan. Okay, Tess might actually cut us off here. There's that Spanish cavalry unit right there once again. We just kind of see them popping up out of nowhere. It's like a Where's Waldo book. So we are going to be moving here, and it looks like they've left this area. Tess is now moving into the area we were originally going for. And something I didn't keep in mind is to cross over, we're going to have to cross this bridge anyway. We can't just walk across water, although that would be a pretty awesome ability. So we are going to have to cut through, and winter is coming. In fact, winter is here, mon ami. So we are here in wintertime, yeah, facing the French. This is a tough one. Obviously, all sorts of things increase during the winter. One of the things that increases is the amount of men that die just from exposure, just from, freezing to death, getting sick, etc. And being in an army during this time period, or really any army during this time period, was extremely dangerous, not just because of battles. Being surrounded by that many men, very, very poor hygiene conditions, not the greatest medical care in the world. When you got sick, there was a good chance you weren't going to make it. And all too often, especially if you were trapped in an army, well, everybody around you was probably going to be getting the same thing you got. And of course, that a lot of men died that way. A lot of men, as we've spoken about before, especially during these wars, would simply join the army, take the money, take their rifle, and just leave. At that point, they'd have some money, a rifle, and it's pretty unlikely that anybody would be chasing them for draft dodging, because it was quite common, and if you went after every single guy that left or escaped the army, you wouldn't be doing anything else. Unfortunately here, the enemy did manage to actually hold us off. Eugene is stuck, and Catinat has the final laugh. He's got the last laugh here, because Catinat is down to 56 command, which is terrible. It's just terrible. Catinat has 915, although what would be really funny, to be honest with you, is if suddenly Catinat attacked us and we still won the battle. I don't think I'd be too surprised, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm still going to try to escape. At this point, there's really no way to do that. We're going to have to go to Milan and hope they don't attack us and somehow make our way back. This is the long march of shame, is what I like to call this. Hello, Sigurd. How are you doing? I like that name, too. Welcome. Zach Blood says, Bourbons are nice biscuits. Oh, gosh, Cable Nexus, we have to see here. See, this is what's the unfortunate thing is of missing the chat. I need to basically alt-tab anytime I want to see the chat. I'm going to have to get some sort of... Maybe I'll just try to put it on my phone, although the phone's not the best for reading the chat. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I do, Pixel. I think this is probably the last turn, or maybe we have one more turn after. But I agree with you. I think this is pretty much the end in more ways than one. The end is near. The end is nigh. And like I said, Catinat gets that last laugh, because especially if he attacks us before the very end here. After so many defeats, I would expect that if he did capture us in battle, he would give us the privilege of allowing us to leave. Again, this is supposed to be gentlemanly combat, boys and girls. Keep that in mind. This is the time of gentlemanly warfare, you fire first sort of deal. So I'm hoping that everybody remains gentlemanly. Of course, I don't expect that to happen at all. Okay, just a regular little battle here. And they actually beat us at Trento. So they're starting to take actually provinces from actual Austria proper. And there we go, lost by points. Our score was 587. The opponent's score was 643. That was actually really close, guys. Had we had maybe one or two better turns, we probably could have won even without taking Milan, I believe. Because I do believe we gained victory points just by winning battles. We had so many victories there gained. We were doing pretty well. But the problem was towards the end there, once we lost the Battle of Milano, or I should say the Siege of Milano, making it all the way back to Mantova caused a whole bunch of problems. And basically, if you lose that first siege, you're talking 3 to 5 turns before you can come back with a full army and lay siege to the city again. Then, of course, there's breaking the city instantaneously in a siege or actually waiting. Yeah, it's just impossible. Absolutely. Gentlemen in Italy, just impossible. Musso, too much, man, too much. So we'll take a look here. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Like I said, today we were doing a much shorter stream. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the release stream for this game. And for that stream, I want to jump into one of the larger scenarios, one of the larger campaigns, I should say. And when we jump into the larger campaign, we're going to have a lot more political decisions. We're going to have a lot more government decisions, etc. And we probably won't get through the entire campaign. As you can see, some of these campaigns are 175 turns long, some of them 57, some of them 94, but I still think we either want to do the Great Northern War tomorrow, which for those of you who don't know is the battle or the war between Peter the Great, the leader of Russia, who actually wanted to modernize Russia, and the Swiss, I believe it's Gustav, if I'm not mistaken, the Swiss king Gustav, and both fought. I believe Gustav was actually killed during the war, during a battle, if I'm not mistaken. Just a stray round. And we could also try the War of Spanish Succession. Of course, the War of Spanish Succession had 3 different phases, 1701 all the way to 1709, and I think we would start with the initial phase, just basically the entire War of Spanish Succession. So this would actually start from the 1706 campaign all the way to the 1709 campaign and include the initial 1701 campaign. So a lot here. I'm going to let you guys obviously vote on what we play tomorrow, but we will take a look tomorrow and decide and see what happens. And there we go, Samuel Hood. Congrats. Well done. Well done. Let's take a look here. Oh no, Zach Blood. Did he lose some stream cash? No, Zach. Once again, I'm also going to make you guys aware of the new system we have with new release games. And we will be specific as to which game this applies to when it comes out. But basically, we're going to set aside a few copies that you guys can actually buy with your slips. So, you know, your friends are struggling, you know, begging friends, begging their bosses to give them more money to purchase a game. You guys aren't going to have to worry as long as you have enough slips to pick the game up. Let's take a look here. And what the heck, I'll roulette all too. Here we go. Since we're all rouletting all... Whoa. I want to see if roulette works in caps. Let's go ahead and do it ourselves. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow where we take on the large campaign. And let's have a gentlemanly contest, of course. Samuel Hood says rigged. Shh, don't tell them. Just don't tell them. All right. I'll catch you later, guys.